Hello and welcome back to episode 11 of the Godot multiplayer series. In this episode, I'll be showing you how to use those validators that we've been making and how to connect them and everything. So let's get into that. But first, I need to do a little thing. I forgot in the last episode to add this character network.send input array RPC ID to the server. So it was sending the inputs only to the client itself that was running. It wasn't syncing them with the server. So add that to your character client input, and then here above this, if not intersection, is empty. All right, now let's move on. Let's go to our character network script and go here and go var, and we'll say validate player input, and this will be of type callable, of course. Callable. There we go. Now we will go down to this input thing. We can delete this because we'll add this line to our validator, and we'll say if validate player input. So if it's assigned, then we will go and say if validate player input dot call. And what are we going to do? We're going to send over the player ID. So we want to make sure that it's the correct ID sending this. So we will go character or network manager dot multiplayer dot get remote sender ID. Okay. And then we'll send over the array origin and the array end. Cool. 1 second. And if that returns true, then we will do this. Otherwise, we will just pass it along if we don't have this validator set. Okay, now let's go make this validator. So in the character server, we will go function validate player input, and this will take in a sender ID, and this will be of type int, and we will take in a origin, and this will be a vector3, and we will take in the end, which will be a vector3. Okay, now that we've got this, we'll pass for now, and I know I misspelled origin here, so I'm gonna fix it. And then I'm gonna copy all of this stuff. Oh, and I'm also gonna make this go bool. So we're gonna return a bool. I'm copying all of this, and I'm going to paste it in here. Normally, you'd want to cache the array in here for performance reasons, but I am not going to do that for now. Okay, origin. Okay, so if the intersection's empty, we'll return false. Cool. If it's not sent by the right person, we'll also return false. So if sender ID does not equal character network dot owner ID, then we will return false. We will return true at the bottom, return true. And let's do another check up here. So if intersection dot collider is not static body 3D, then we will return false. So if they click on a player, they won't move to them, but if they click on the ground, they'll move to that location. So this is a very basic validator. We're doing some basic checks here, and now we've got to go connect this. So we'll go character network dot validate player input is equal to validate player input there. Let's go back to our character network. So if this returns false, this validate player input, let's just actually have the player go back to the position that they were in, because on the client that sends this input, they automatically assume that the raycast is going to return true. It's going to be right. So they'll move, but the server and the other clients won't move. So let's just go and say set target dot RPC, and we will say my body dot position. So we'll set it back to their original. Okay, does this make sense? Let's run this now. I'm gonna host, and choose him, move over here, gonna connect, choose her, move over here, and it's just returning false all the time. Why is this? Let's go back to our validator. Okay, so we're sending in the sender ID. Okay, this check should be correct. Oh, the intersection should be empty. Whoops. I think that's our issue right there. I'm going to choose him. Okay, he's moving around. Fine. Clicks a player, and boom, he won't move there. All right. So that's the basics on how to use validators. So we've reached the end of the Godot multiplayer series. So far, we've created a library that you can use in any multiplayer project that you want that hopefully teaches you some of the core concepts of multiplayer authority and stuff like that. We didn't get time to make a game with the episode constraints that I had set for this series. And I'm sorry about that. Maybe in the future, if this series does well enough, we can get into that. But you might be thinking, where do you go from here? Well, first off, when making this series, I read a book called The Essential Guide to Creating Multiplayer Games with Godot 4.0 by Henry Campos. I'll put it in a link and up somewhere. And then you could also maybe request more tutorials in the future. If you really liked this, let us know. And if you want more, we can maybe dive into deeper topics. Series on YouTube are a bit of a risk since they often have a quite steep fall off from the first episode to the last. So we might do something on Udemy or whatever. I'm not quite sure. Also, please share your multiplayer projects. If you build anything using this, let us know. We'll be happy to shout you out. Also, I'll release a cleaned up version of this library on GitHub called EasyNet. It'll have extra things like sync vars, network ticks, spawn batching. I'll cache the transforms like I talked about in the series. I'll add targeted spawns, all that kind of good stuff, and I'll hopefully continue developing it, and we can really see how far we can take this tool. Since you guys know how it works, I would be more than happy for you to help contribute and add your ideas and stuff to this networking project. I think that would be a really cool thing to do as a community. All right, so that's all I have for now. Hit us up, let us know what you thought. Good luck game developing. Bye.